Thank you, Administrator Milgram, for being here today. First, Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank you for leading the fight against illegal drugs with the RX Summit and Operation Unite that we participated in 2 weeks ago. I was honored to be there with you and with Ranking Member in that summit. I appreciate all the hard work you've done and continue to do in that regard.
Thank you.
Administrator Milgram, America is in the midst of a deadly fentanyl crisis, which is a major part of the drug overdose epidemic, and I know you're well aware of that, tragically claiming the lives of almost 107,000 Americans in 2021. In 2022, the DEA seized over 379 million deadly doses of fentanyl. One thing is clear: President Biden's open border policies, which have emboldened drug cartels, are both dangerous and deadly, and I truly wish you would have answered my colleague's question about the impact of the open border. American families should feel safe and be able to trust that federal agencies such as the DEA that are tasked with preventing these deadly drugs from flooding our communities are operating efficiently and effectively. Yet a truly disturbing report from the Associated Press shows an apparent abuse of contract authority, leaving Americans wondering if they can really trust the Biden administration's DEA to do the best job in protecting their families from illegal and lethal drugs such as fentanyl. Administrator, under your leadership, has the DEA awarded any no-bid contracts?
Congressman, I appreciate you raising this issue. As I've said, I think it's an important issue.
Just answer the question, ma'am.
As I've said, sir, the Inspector General is doing an administrative review of some DEA contracts. As I'm sure you know, we have thousands or at least hundreds of contracts. He's looking at some of them. I welcome that, and I'm not going to step in front of him out of respect for his work, and I'm going to continue to do my work.
How many no-bid contracts has the DEA awarded under your leadership?
Congressman, I couldn't give you the full number of sole source contracts. We can get back to you on that.
What about the dollar value?
We can get back to you on that.
All right. I appreciate you getting back to the committee on that. A report from the Associated Press on April the 19th, just last week, titled DEA Chief Faces Probe into Swampy Hires No-Bid Contracts, details how you are alleged to have been using your position to award nearly $4.7 million in no-bid contracts for strategic planning and communication, end quote, to people you knew from your days as New Jersey's Attorney General and as New York University law professor. Additionally, I understand that you are reportedly under investigation by the Department of Justice Inspector General for potential procurement fraud. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask unanimous consent to submit 4 articles, these news articles for the record. The first one is GOP Senator demands DEA boss explain no-bid contracts, April 20th. DEA oversees review barely mentions corruption scandals, March 24th. DEA chief faces probe into swampy hires no-bid contracts, April the 19th, and the DEA looks like a total mess right now, April the 19th, 2023, from Vice.com.
Without objection.
Thank you. Administrator Milgram, are you aware of these reports?
Congressman, I am.
You are. Great. Do you deny the allegations outlined in these reports?
Congressman, as I've said, the Inspector General is conducting an administrative review into some DEA contracts, which I welcome, and I'm not going to step in front of the Inspector General or speak more about it while that review is continuing.
Does that mean you're taking the fifth?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. You're not an investigator here. You are the reported object of the investigation.
Sir, the Inspector General is doing an administrative review of some DEA contracts.
Okay.
I respect him and his work, and we're going to let that play out.
All right. Do you know Boyd Johnson?
Congressman, I met Boyd Johnson after I was nominated to be the administrator. I spoke with hundreds of people before I came into office.
Okay. How would you characterize your relationship with Mr. Johnson prior to his contract work for the DEA?
I met him just before I came in as DEA administrator, sir.
Okay. Do you know Jose Cordero? And how would you characterize your relationship with Mr. Cordero prior to his contract work for the DEA?
Sir, Mr. Cordero worked with me previously on violence reduction.
Okay. As I understand it, Boyd Johnson's law firm, Wilmer Hale, was hired by yourself to conduct a review of the DEA's scandal-plagued foreign operations. Their review was widely criticized, as evidenced by an AP News report from March 24th that is in the record, titled DEA Overseas Review Barely Mentions Corruption Scandals. However, if you look a little deeper, it makes sense that the review is favorable to your agency. Additionally, according to the April 19th Vice News report, Jose Cordero's consulting group was hired as a contractor to vet DEA cases, and it was a $400,000 or almost $400,000 no-bid contract. These reports, are very disturbing to me. And I think what I'm seeing here, if they're correct, is that taxpayer dollars are using to pay people in lucrative no-bid contract deals to produce favorable results. And that's very, very, I think that's counter to the mission of the DEA here. I look forward to the DOJ Inspector General's report on these alleged practices. I think Americans deserve the best stewards of their hard-earned dollars, especially with regard to the DEA's core mission, which is so absolutely vitally important to this nation. As dangerous, lethal drugs continue to devastate our communities across the country, we need a dedicated and responsible individual who is above reproach leading the DEA. Everyone is afforded the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, but these reports are pretty strong. So I would, with that, I yield back.
Gentlemen,